What is up, everybody? So I'm sure a lot of you clicked on this video kind of confused if you follow my channel or if you're subscribed, which, by the way, you should be because I post cool stuff. But um yeah, a lot of you who follow my channel are probably confused because I already made a video that explained this. And the reason that I'm doing it over again, I'm probably going to take that video down, by the way, but the reason I'm doing it over again is because that video was bad. It was not very easy to understand and just generally horrible. So I am making another one, and this one will hopefully be easier to understand. So yes, as I'm sure you guessed from the title, today's video is about 3D modeling with Blockbench. So Blockbench is a super easy, completely free, and just generally fun 3D model creator that I use for Minecraft. You can also use it for other video games. I'm not sure which, though. And so yeah, let's just get right into it. So first thing you're gonna do is open up like a browser or whatever and go to blockbench.net. So we'll go to blockbench.net and just hit enter and click download, and then you will just click on whichever one of these whichever computer you're on, and then it'll download it for you. Since I'm sure you don't want to just see me sitting here waiting for it to download, I've already downloaded the DMG image here. So yeah, I'm just going to close this out and install it. So if you're on Windows or whatever, I'm not sure how you install things on Windows because I don't have a Windows computer, but however you install it, you'll just install it like any other app because it's just a normal app. On Mac, in case you don't know how to install a DMG image, you just double click on it, it'll like load up, and then you just drag Blockbench into the applications folder. And that's about it. So now, if I go to Launchpad, it might not be in Launchpad quite yet. It might be, though. Yep, it was. Okay, so now I can go to Launchpad and just open up Blockbench. So I'll close out this now, and it'll say, sometime if you're on a Mac, it'll probably say, Blockbench is an app downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Just click open. I swear it's not a virus. So once you've opened it up, you might have like an update log, and now you can, so there's no recently open models. Yours will probably look exactly like this. So for if you're making a there's a whole bunch of things you can make. You could just make a generic 3D model, you can make a skin, you can make an Optifine part, you can make an Optifine entity, modded entity, etc. Right now, I'm going to show you how to make a Java block item. The other ones are pretty easy to figure out, but I'm just going to show you how to make a Java block item right now. So when you click on that, it'll come up with this thing here. So let's see. I'll just make... Why don't I make... How about an axe? We'll make an axe. That sounds cool. Okay, so file name, I'll just name it axe, right? Why not? Texture width, this doesn't really matter. This is just the default texture size. You don't actually even have to name it anything. I'm just naming it axe because why not? And so this is all good. You just hit confirm. And now let's go over some of the controls. So this is the add cube button. When you click it, you can see it adds a little cube here. Pretty easy to understand that. And then this is the resize. You can also double click on the area to go to the resize option, or you can just click between the resize and move. So this is the move tool. You can move it around, right? Pretty self-explanatory. This is the resize, so you can obviously stretch it. And then, as it helpfully told us there, you can also hold down Shift to make it resize in smaller increments. You can hold down Control to make it resize in even smaller increments, or Control Shift rather. And then that's the same for the move tool. You can also just go like Control or Shift to make it move in smaller increments. The pivot tool, so this has to do with the rotation. So the rotation, pretty easy to understand. You just turn it on whichever axis you want to turn it on. Although for Minecraft only allows blocks or objects to be rotated along one axis at once, so you can't like rotate it like this and then rotate it like that. It doesn't work, see? So that's the way that works. And then the pivot tool, because I'm sure you've noticed that like our axis is like right over here. So you can also obviously just do Command Z and Command Y for undo and redo. But the pivot tool lets us move this pivot wherever we want. So now, since we've moved the pivot, now we can click rotate again, and we can rotate it pivoted around this area right here. So, and then there's also this handy button right here where you can just click center pivot, and then it will center the pivot on the block itself. You can add another cube, and then you can add these two into a group. So you can hold shift to select both of them, and then click add group, and now they are in that group, and you can move that group like together, if that makes sense, like that. Or you can just select one of them and move it along on its own. So that's the way you make a that's the way you make it. So now I'm going to, those are the basic controls, and now I'm just gonna make my axe really quick. I'm sure you don't need to see me make that. So I'm gonna make the axe really quick, and then I'll show you how to texture stuff. Cool.
One eternity later.
Apparently I'm not good at making axes, so I made the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda instead. Hope you don't mind. So now that we've got our 3D model, I can show you how to texture it. So obviously it doesn't look so great right now. It's kind of like a bunch of different colors and just generally looks dumb, especially right up here. It just looks horrible. But now we can texture it. So probably the way I'm going to texture this. So there's a couple ways you can texture it. So first you're going to want to go over to paint, obviously, up in the corner, and then you're going to click on create texture. So before I do this, there's a couple ways we can do it. So you can create several different layers of textures. So meaning you can create several different texture files and then just put them all on different parts of the image, which is usually easier to do, but it'll also make the size of your resource pack. It'll just make your resource pack a lot larger of a file. So you can do that, or you can just create one texture file and position that file on your model accordingly. And I'm going to show you how to do that, so don't worry about it. So I'm just going to name this Sword Layer 1. How about that? We'll name it Sword Layer 1 and just hit confirm. So here, this is the color of the texture. You'll probably just want to leave it at white because obviously you're going to paint on it later. The resolution, this is how large the texture file is. I'm going to leave this as 16 because I think for this tutorial I'm going to do the first method, the easier method, where you create multiple texture files. So this is just going to be the file for the blade. And so now we have our Sword Layer 1 texture, and I'm just going to apply this. You can see I've made folders for the blade, so I'm just going to apply this texture to the entire blade. So the way I do that is I select the blade folder, and that means that all cubes in this folder are selected, and then I'll right click on this and click apply to untextured faces, and voila, there we go. So now if we go back to edit, we can see it better. Now our sword blade is completely painted. So for the rest of this, actually, you know what? For a model like this, I think I am just going to use one texture just for a model like this, since there isn't a whole lot of different colors in the Master Sword. So for this one, I'm going to actually select all of the cubes here. And here, so I messed that up. Whoops. Okay, so select that, shift, and select that. I'm not sure what, oh, it's because it was in the folder, that's why. Okay, select that, shift, select that. Alright, I don't know what's up with Blockbench, but we can still do, oh, it's because I'm not in edit, I think, so. There we go. So now that we have all of those selected, we can right click on this and select apply to untextured faces. So now we've got that, right? And I think that's good for now, because so that little cube on there is where I want to put, if you don't play Legend of Zelda, you won't know what this is, but that's where I want to put like the Triforce symbol. So for the rest of this, I'm just going to paint on here. So for these right here, I'm going to, because here's the thing, with Blockbench, you have to position, the way you texture things is a bit weird in Blockbench. You have to position it perfectly, like, you have to position, so this right here, you can see that right there, that is where the texture is for all of these selected blocks. So I'm actually going to move this over, like all the way over here, and then I'll come back to paint, and let's get like a nice color. How about, yep, that looks good. So, and now we'll just paint that there. Perfect. You'll notice, however, that if you come back over here, this says like north and south, right? So now we've got like the north side painted, right? We also need to paint the south side, the west side, the east side, and then up and down. Okay, so we've got north. Now we'll move this over here and then go back to paint, and then just paint it down like here. I'll just move it around and I'll just paint that there, just like that. There we go. Now we can go back. So we'll go up to start. So I messed that up a bit, actually. I did not want that to be there. So where I wanted this to be was all the way over here. So I need to reselect all of these and then position them properly. So north is there, south, we want south to also be there. West, we want west to be over there too. East, we want east over there as well. Up, and then obviously down to all be over there. So now our handle is completely blue. And yes, I know that the Master Sword has gold on it. I'll get to that in a second. So now we've got our basic handle and like blade. I'm going to go over here and erase the stuff that I messed up on. Give me a second. I should probably paint it white instead. So there we go. Oh, I'm on eraser. So I just realized I didn't go over the controls. These are just pretty much like any other painting software. You've got paintbrush, paint bucket, eraser, select a color, and then you can also draw shape, but I think that's with one of my plugins. And I'm not going to show you plugins right now. I might show you plugins in a later video, but they're kind of complicated, so I think I'm going to end up showing them later. So now we've got like the basic idea of a sword made, right? So, however, as I'm sure some of you know, I mean, the actual Master Sword in Zelda has, you know, gold on it. So we're going to go over here, and as you can see, this handle, the texture shape on the actual texture is not in any way shaped like the handle. So we're going to try and fix that by just going like that. South also there. West. And east. And then up and down should be good for now, except down I think I'm going to move right here. So now, because we want the Master Sword to have gold on it, like it does in the actual video game, of course, we're going to get a gold color. I don't like that. There we go. And then we'll paint it like that. And here, there we go. That looks good. And then I also want this entire, like this entire piece right here to be gold. So I'll just move that down like so. And then we'll do that with every single side of it. Modeling can be pretty tedious and it will get boring, but I promise you it's worth it when you finish your model and you can actually have this like this Master Sword or whatever it is that you are building in game. Oh, I forgot down. There. Cool. So now we've got that. I'm also going to do the exact same thing that we just did with that lower one to this one, just to add just a bit more variety to our model. And then I'm going to draw the Triforce over on that image that is still blank. I'm going to use a separate image for the Triforce, and I'm going to make the image size larger, which I think will be useful for you to know how to do. So now we've got this, right? Looks pretty good. So yeah, looks pretty good so far, but obviously this is an issue. So we're gonna go back to paint again and click on create a texture. So we're going to name this texture, let's just do Triforce. Confirm. And here, this is the resolution of the image. So because I want it, I mean triangles, right? The Triforce is made out of triangles, in case you don't play Zelda. It's made out of like 3 triangles sort of stacked on top of each other, and Minecraft obviously doesn't like triangles, so I'm going to change the image size to 32 instead. So now this image is a higher resolution, and we can apply it. And now if we click on this, each of these things that I have on either side of the blade, and then click apply to untextured faces, we can then come over here and look at that. Now we can actually paint the triangles on there. So I could probably make this look better, but I'm just trying to make a video, not trying to make something for an actual data pack. So this will do for the video, although it's not, I will say it's not my best work. So I'm just going over the basics in this tutorial. Blockbench has so many cool options, and I encourage you to explore them. I'm only going over a couple of the controls right now. So, on the display setting, yours will not just be fitting perfectly in the skin guy's hand like mine is. You are going to want to move these around so that it fits in his hand perfectly. So you can obviously rotate it on all sorts of axes. You can change the translation, like where it moves, and you can change the scale. So you can change how wide it is, how long it is, etc. So let me get it back to where it was before. And then remember, this only changes it for the right hand. You're also going to want to go back into the left hand and edit that a little bit. And then first person, you'll want to change it in first person so that it looks good in first person. Head doesn't really matter. People probably aren't going to be putting a sword on their head. But if you're making like a helmet 3D model, then that's probably pretty important. You're going to want to make sure that it looks good on the ground. This is something that I've noticed a lot of 3D model or resource pack creators kind of just forget about, and they don't like model the way it looks on the ground. I think it's important, and it just adds a really nice level of detail. So right here, I'm actually going to apply a preset. So you can apply like a default item to this slot, and there you go. You can see that it shrunk down like that, and then I can rotate it so that it's, like crossed like a normal sword is. Oops, that's not how I wanted to rotate it. Nope, that's not either. Command Z. There we go. So now it's crossed like a normal sword. I'm going to move it just a little bit that way. And I think that looks good. You can change the way it looks in an item frame. That's good for now. And you can change the way it looks like in the GUI or in someone's inventory. Now, once you've actually made your master sword, axe, whatever the heck you're making, you're gonna need to save it. So obviously we haven't saved these 2 texture files I made. So the way we're gonna save it is obviously click on the save button, and you're gonna have to select where you want to save it. So I'm going to open up this whole thing. On my desktop, I have a resource pack template. I will leave a download to this resource pack template in the description so you can make this yourself. However, for now, or you can, you can like put it in another resource pack that you're making if you want to. So we're gonna save the texture, obviously. Remember, you have to save the texture before you save the model. That's very important. Otherwise, the model won't know the texture path of the texture. So we're gonna save the texture, and so this is in the resource pack. We're gonna go Assets, Minecraft, Textures, and then you're going to save it in the custom folder. Remember, this resource pack is in the description, so just drag it onto your desktop, and then you can save your stuff. You can save all of the stuff in this resource pack, or if you want to, you can also save it to a resource pack that you're already creating. So just click save there. So now we've got the sword layer 1.png saved, and then we'll also save the Triforce PNG that I made, which we'll save in the same folder. So now we've got both of these saved, right? So now we're going to save the actual model. So you're going to click on File, Export, and then click on Export Block/Item Model. Once it's in here, I'm going to save it as mastersword.json, obviously. We don't want to save it in textures. We want to save it in... So the file path for the model is assets, Minecraft, models, and then item. If it's a block, you would be saving it in there. So we'll click on item, and then we'll click save. Now we have our 3D model saved, and you can just close out Blockbench and open up Minecraft. You can see there's the resource pack, that template that I saved it in. So we'll click on back, or not back to game, we'll click on options, resource packs, and drop this resource pack template in here. Okay, so now we can put it on here. However, as I'm sure you noticed, we didn't save we saved it as mastersword.json, and there's no such thing as a master sword in Minecraft unless we create one with a data pack. So right now I'm going to save it as a diamond sword. So instead, I'm going to open up our resource pack folder and delete the resource pack template in there. Now we're going to go into our original resource pack template, go into assets, Minecraft, models, item, and change this from mastersword.json to diamond sword.json. And then we can just close that out, and now we will drop this in here. It'll say, and then you'll load the resource pack. And wait, oh, it didn't load here. I'm gonna have to do this, hit done, wait for it to load up again. Now once that is in there, now that we've changed it to a diamond sword, that means that the diamond sword, instead of being a normal diamond sword, it is going to look like our master sword model that we just created. So once this loads in, we can go and see if it worked. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to show you some troubleshooting tips that you can try and figure it out with. So now if we search diamond sword, you can see instead of a normal diamond sword in our hand, we now have the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda, the exact model that we just made in Blockbench. Alright, so now if that worked for you, then you're done with this video, although make sure to skip ahead because I'm making an announcement at the end. But if that worked for you, then you should be okay for now, because then, I mean, you're done, because you just made your sword. However, it doesn't always, you might have done something wrong. So if it looks like pink and black, like this one, you can see we've got kind of a glitched texture here. That means that something went wrong with the texture. It usually means that either that you didn't save the texture file properly, maybe you saved the model before you saved the texture, in which case you'll have to kind of do it all over again and make sure you save the texture before the model. But sometimes it might mean that you may have accidentally moved like the texture out of the correct folder, in which case, super easy fix. All you have to do is go to Options, Resource Packs, open Resource Pack folder, and then you'll go into the Resource Pack template or whatever resource pack it is, Assets, Minecraft, Textures, and then you can see here are our two textures that we made for the Master Sword. You just have to make sure that these two textures are in the correct folder. So our file path, you can check what the file path is as well. So if we go back into our models and item, we can see we've got our diamondsword.json. And you can see right here, it's just right here, the texture is 0 and 1. The file path is custom/sword layer 1 and custom/Triforce. Okay, so now all you have to do is put your textures into the correct folder. So since it said custom/sword layer 1, we put the sword layer 1 into the custom folder. Since this is Triforce and it said custom/Triforce, we put the Triforce also into the custom folder. And now if we click done, back to game, and we reload our resource packs, then it should have fixed itself. If you can't find that file path in your 3D model, then it means that you did not save the texture properly, and you're gonna have to do it all over again. So make sure you save your 3D models properly. Now, like I said earlier, I do have an announcement to make. I created a Discord server, so you can join it. It'll be in the description, and it's where you can ask me questions about stuff. You can share your data packs. You can give ideas on data packs that you want me to make. I'm happy to make just a custom data pack for free for anyone, because seriously, I need more ideas. Okay, that's our first announcement. Make sure to check out the Discord server in the description. If you give me an idea for a data pack, I will post it on YouTube and credit you for the idea. And so yeah, make sure to check out the Discord server. My second announcement, I am currently working on a server data pack commission. That's one of the reasons that I haven't been on lately, or haven't been uploading lately. I've been working on this massive data pack for a server for one of my friends. The server is called Dungeon Slayer MC. It's got tons of custom bosses that I am helping create myself. I'm programming custom weapons and items with special textures, and the best part is, because it's all data packs, there are no mods. You don't have to download anything. Just log onto the server, and the server will ask you to load the resource pack, so you'll just click the load button, and then you will be able to fight custom bosses. I'm adding fire elementals, earth golems, I'm adding sirens. We're gonna have a gigantic slime boss in the basement. I figured out a way to add AIs to giants and killer bunnies. It is going to be awesome. We're gonna have tons of cool items. Now that I think about it, I'm probably gonna make a better looking version of the Master Sword, because we are going to have so many custom items. It'll take you years to collect them all. So make sure to check that out when it comes out. I'll be sure to make an upload video on it. And yeah, I think that's it for today. I will try to upload sooner and more often. Sorry, I haven't been uploading lately. And I think that's it. I will see you in the next video. See ya.